Good morning. So, I recently finished the book, The Master and Margarita. And if anyone's not read that book yet, it is a beautiful explosion of imagination and commentary on the Soviet time period in Russia. But it's about the devil's trip to Moscow to ultimately find a woman whom he makes into a witch briefly to be his hostess at a devil's pageant, among many other things that are strange and wonderful. And all I'm saying is it's a great book. But one of the ideas in the book that I find quite compelling is the idea that the people in the book are atheists. All of them, as far as I can tell. Except, perhaps, people like Margarita and the Master. But, I'm sure that's a topic of literary debate I don't need to go into. The point is, most people at that time were atheists. And so, a lot of them have a very hard time when they encounter Voland, who is the devil in that book. And the idea that I think is so interesting, that the book captures so well, is that this encounter with the devil will start making you believe in God in some sense of the word. And what I mean by that is, I feel like a lot of the time that is the gateway for the dedicated atheists who then decide to become religious, or who see what's going on with religion. Because a lot of the time they go through some profound suffering on earth. Because you can't see God. You can't imagine what that would look like. You can't imagine anything about he or she or it. God's abstract. But what you can imagine, what you can see, is the ruler of the earth, so to speak. You can see that right in front of you, there's evil, there's horror. The world is a very mean place. And you can see that quite clearly. And I think when that really becomes apparent to you, you see that these bad things happen, and you see that they're really bad. If you then engage in the process of trying to figure out how these bad things can never happen again, how you can make sure that such a bad thing never happens again, then you start to reflect on things in what I believe is a religious way. You think, is there a way I can live my life where the sorts of suffering and evil that I've just seen is diminished or even overcome? When you encounter the devil and you see that he is the devil, you don't deny it. Because people deny it all the time. People can stay asleep through their suffering their whole lives. Oh, it's not in my control. It's this, that, and the other thing. You know, this is just my lot in life. It's like people can do that. People do that their whole lives. But when you really open your eyes up and you look at yourself and you look at the world and think, what about all of this can I change now that I believe in the devil? What about this is in my power to change? Are there things my ancestors figured out about how to live to avoid the devil running havoc in my life? And I'm not talking about a literal devil with fucking horns and cloven hoofs running in your life. If you've encountered that, you know what I mean. It's something that cuts through the heart of every man, to quote Solzhenitsyn. And so that's what I'm finding so intriguing as I come to the end of this book, is that encountering this devil, encountering the evil on earth, might just be enough to rekindle people's faith in something higher that lets them live life in such a way that evil is diminished, or even better, redeemed and made into a good thing. I think that's really the essence of especially Judeo-Christian religion. But it's pretty explicit in Eastern religions as well. And so, really, the point is, keep that in mind. If you're someone who's suffering, if you feel like you're encountering the evil and cruelty of the world, give some serious consideration to the lessons that our ancestors handed down to us. Suggestions of personal responsibility, of sacrificing the things that you might hold most dear in order to live correctly. You know, maybe the thing you hold most dear is a toxic person or an identity for yourself that causes you pain. You know, maybe you need to go out every day and live your life fighting against some unknown enemy that you've made up. All I'm saying is, there might be another way. And I think that's one of the messages in this book. Anyway, that's all that's on my mind today. Let me know what you think. If you think that, well, let me know if you've had a time in your life when you feel like you've come face to face with the devil and overcome it. Or maybe you think I'm wrong. Maybe you think this is all just bullshit and life has no meaning anyway, and the only real control over your life is your access to pleasure and maximizing it. Or something else. But anyway, that's all. Have a good day.